Hello, it's me. Look at that. 2 robots by 2 different companies. Tesla Optimus, Xpeng Iron. And yesterday I produced a video on Figure, the version 03, I believe. The Figure robot. Wow. I mean, really, wow. What a wondrous future we live in. If you could clad those robots in film level makeup and a skin, I mean, it won't be long before they come across as totally human. There'll be a bit of uncanny valley attached to it. That effect, for those of you who don't know, that effect that robots, or rather that CGI animations and masks on robots, that they don't emote, they have no real emotion, and so they look a bit spooky. That refers to the uncanny valley effect. But I can see in very short order these things looking more human than human, as Eldon Tyrell said in the movie Blade Runner. And we're right there. Now, for those of you who don't know, Blade Runner is a dystopian view of the future, where humanity is forced to mingle with engineered humans that weren't born human. They are manufactured, but you can't tell the difference. And there are huge philosophical questions about identity and slavery and all that kind of stuff. Brilliant film. Watch it if you can. Well, guess what? We're here. And our politicians need to be right here, right now, also. Because where does this leave us? This leaves us with these robots taking all the blue-collar jobs, menial task jobs, dangerous jobs, which is fine. Put them in steelworks and what have you. When I first started working as a young lad, I worked for a steelworks for a short period of time. And the horror stories some of those older men had that they would relay of men being injured, make your toes curl. I still remember them now, but I'm not going to repeat them. So they take dangerous jobs. Great. Then they start taking jobs as street sweepers. I mean, the street sweeping jobs have already been subverted anyway. They've been sabotaged because councils sacked men, or initially they replaced men doing that job, getting paid for it, with volunteers. They took the men off the streets, waited a certain amount of time, and the streets weren't, doing well. They've reduced the workforce, so there are men in vans trying to clean up the same area and larger areas because cities are growing, aren't they, for the most part? And then, at some point, when the complaints grew loud enough online, they started saying, let's have volunteer initiatives. And they sold it under the banner of community. Just like the UK Online Safety Act is about the children. But it isn't, unfortunately. It would be lovely if it was. Do your research. Have a look into it. It's quite dark, actually. Anyway. So, they start taking menial jobs, delivery drivers, receptionists. What do you do? Are we going to have robot demonstrations? Will that be allowed? Because our ability to demonstrate is being eroded right now. I think one could reasonably argue, is that why this whole censorship thing is happening? ID cards, etc.? because these politicians see a future that many of us don't yet, that I'm alluding to currently. And I think that's the big thing now. Our politicians need to be aware and make themselves fully familiar with the ramifications of this quite incredible technology, frankly. Because when they start taking receptionist jobs, teachers even, can you imagine being taught by one of these things? A robot will have all the knowledge. There won't really be any human interpretation of a moment in history. It will just be given to you via one of these things in a very soothing, friendly voice. And that opens up a whole new can of worms. Well, robots can be programmed. They will literally say whatever you tell them to say. How easily could education be eroded, changed, subverted? Not to mention the underclass it will create. All these unemployed people who used to do these jobs will suddenly find themselves effectively on the scrap heap. The benefit system of any country, as I said yesterday, will collapse. And as I said yesterday, people have started muting the idea of a universal basic income. It will be rolled out everywhere. It will kind of be an income, but you can bet your bottom dollar it will be very, very basic. And politicians need to get their head around that and choose a side. And that's what this video is all about. Choosing a side. So my political pick for the UK is Jeremy Corbyn. Jeremy Corbyn? Yeah. Just look around you. See, look at the system we've got currently. Look where it's going. Look where it's headed. And look where we are currently now. Everything, all of it. From shopping to ID cards. Or rather, I should say, from the cost of shopping to ID cards. And ask yourself very, very seriously, how much worse would Corbyn be? When the question you really should be asking is, how much better could Corbyn make it? But he's no different from any other politician in as much as he has to get his head around this now. He will have to choose a side. And in my opinion, that side must be the side of the UK and the side of the citizens of the UK. Reinvigorate farming, reinvigorate manufacturing. Make people at the centre of everything. And when you do that, there is still a large place for this technology, this incredible technology, to do its work. This, in my opinion, robotics and what it will do socially to any country where these things are rolled out en masse, is the next big political battleground. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Do like, subscribe, and share if you'd like. And until next time, this is me signing off. Do look after yourselves.